This video is one of my favorite videos that I do every single year. And today we're gonna go over my 2025 financial goals. Hey everyone, I'm Ajadang. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. And these videos are always really cool for me to do because I do these videos publicly. I set my goals for the new year. And then at the end of the year, it's kind of cool to look back to see what I achieved and what I didn't. I'm gonna share the goals that I achieved and didn't achieve and what my year looked like in a different video, because today it's all about sharing what my 2025 financial goals are going to be and how you can set up your own financial goals. Setting up financial goals and goals in general is so important because if you're not striving for something specific, it's just gonna take you longer to reach that goal than necessary. Just with all things financial, you need a plan. I'm gonna put time codes in the description box if you wanna just skip ahead. But if this is new to you and you've never set a goal before, a financial goal, I wanna take a moment before sharing what I wanna achieve financially to break it down. So these are my goals from this year actually. And as you can tell, they are divided into short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. It might seem redundant to set goals for different term lengths, but all of them kind of work together in order to help push you forward financially. So let's start with short-term goals, which I think are probably the most important, because if you set and achieve your short-term goal, that will give you the confidence you need to set and achieve larger goals in the future. A couple ideas for short-term goals can be: maybe you create a budget in 2025. Another idea is to create a mini emergency fund. Another short-term goal could be paying off your high interest credit card debt. If you're just starting out with goal setting for money, I would recommend maybe focusing on those three first, because as you'll see, as we get into my financial goals, I save for a lot of different things. And if you're new, it might get very overwhelming. So pick three that you want to focus on in the short term, and I think stop there. And then in 2026, when you're ready to set those goals, then you can expand on what you want to achieve. Now, a medium financial goal, obviously between 1 and 5 years, I would say could be paying off student loan. It could be saving up for your kids' college tuition. It could be saving up for a down payment or a major home renovation, or fully funding that emergency fund that you built in a mini emergency fund in your short-term goals. And now we have long-term goals, which for most of us, the biggest long-term expense is going to be towards retirement. So that's a really quick breakdown of short, medium, and long-term financial goals for you to mull over. But let's go into my 2025 financial goals. Here we are. I decided to do something a little different instead of kind of just like the boring boxes that I normally do. I decided to repurpose the master plan digital stickers for my sinking funds. A little bit more fun in my opinion, but let's go over the goals that I have set for myself. So for the short-term goals, next year is going to be a pretty expensive year, but that's why we're saving for it. So these goals are actually listed in order of when I need to have them fully funded by. So the first thing is my friend's bachelorette party. She wants to go to Atlanta to go to the clubs. You know what type of clubs I'm talking about. I plan on probably using miles for my flight. The bride-to-be is already paying for the Airbnb. So really all that I need to save for is food. I need to save for tip money, and then whatever kind of smaller activities that she wants to do. I know she wants to go to the botanical gardens. There's a spa day she wants to do. So my estimated cost is going to be $2,000, and I have a target date of that for May. I'm pretty sure I've done a video about how to set financial sinking fund flowcharts for things like trips. So if I did do that, I'll link it in the cards. If I didn't do that, I will shoot that. And then after that, we have her wedding, which is going to be in France. And Brian and I, since we still haven't taken an official honeymoon yet, we've decided that we'll probably try to mix in a honeymoon type of vibe before and after the wedding. This does not include the flights to and from Europe, which I'm already using our miles, so we're good there. This is just for hotels. This is for spa days we want to do. This is for food that we want to eat and all the good things. Fortunately, I'm in a place now where I can really splurge on things that I like. I like to travel. I like to eat really good food. I like to have a spa day, and I'm definitely going to do those things during my honeymoon. Between Brian and I, we have 8 months to save $15,000. And if we both throw in $1,000 every month, we can easily achieve that. Next, we have doggy dental, which is something that I save up for every single year. By the way, we no longer have dog insurance, which was a whole fiasco last year. But this year, because the dogs are older, Levi had his very first extraction. Luke had like a chipped tooth that needed to be fixed. So I believe their dental for this year, with all of those included, was about like $3,500. So it's a lot. And again, it's something that we save for it, so it doesn't totally screw us budget-wise. But the boys are getting older, the extractions are starting, so I want to save $4,000 for their dental. And then finally, in the short-term goals, we do plan on moving out of our beautiful loft that we've been in for probably 3-4 years at this point. We actually did try to move before our lease was up this year, but we were looking for a house and we did not have the money. But in order to do the deposit and the first month's rent, it was just something that was not happening for us this year. So we're gonna save up for that. The places that we were looking at earlier this year were around like $5,000, $5,500 a month. So I figure round up, anything we don't use for the home itself can be for the movers or whatever. So $12,000 again between Brian and I. We have over a year to save up for it, so doable for us. I also just want to take this time to remind you to put all of your short-term savings goals into a high yield savings account, so at least you can be making a little bit of interest while you're working towards your short-term goals. And bonus, if you have a bank like Ally, I think Capital One has something similar, SoFi has something similar apparently, where you have buckets. So you can open up a savings account that's titled sinking funds or short-term goals, and then you can open buckets for your individual goals. So a bachelorette bucket, a wedding bucket, a doggy dental bucket, and a move bucket. And even though they're all in one high yield savings account, they're separated by the bucket, so I know exactly how much money I have saved for what goal. Now on to my medium goals. I'm still working on increasing our emergency fund. I want to add just another $10,000 to it. So just because you have an emergency fund that's fully funded a few years ago, life changes, right? So you need to continuously add to that emergency fund. I fully funded our emergency fund a few years ago, but last year we bought a house, so I'm adding to that. And then maybe a few years later, we start a family. So there's different points in your life in which you might need to increase your emergency fund a little bit more. So just take note of when those life changes happen. My next medium-term goal is to contribute into my SEP $24,000. Now, this is a retirement account. So I did mention earlier that you want to put your retirement accounts probably into your long-term goals. But for me, this is not maxing out my SEP. A SEP is a self-employed pension, and I believe the max contribution is like $55,000. So I'm setting this to be a medium-term goal because I know I'm not gonna reach $50,000. Like, I don't make that type of money, but maybe I can half that over the year. So that's why I put my SEP into my medium-term goal. And then finally, we have my 40th birthday party, which is happening in a few years. Next year I turn 38, and I want to save $20,000 for it. So I have until 2027 to save up $20,000 for my 40th birthday. What that looks like, I don't know. Maybe it's a facelift by Lindsay Lohan's plastic surgeon. Maybe it's a all expenses paid trip for me and my friends anywhere. Maybe it's just a really fun party in LA. Who really knows? I just know that I want to save enough to have options and to celebrate myself. And now we're going to talk about my long-term financial goals. So the first thing I want to do is have a living trust. So while it's something that I need to do sooner rather than later, I still put it into my long-term goals because a living trust is something that has to be, consistently updated. I estimated that it's going to cost about $3,000 for a lawyer to put it all together, but it's something that is very important. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. So maybe when I do pull the trigger and I experience all the process of putting together a living trust, I'll do a video about it. And then another goal that I want to do is to move Brian out of Bank of America, which I've been saying I'm going to do for the past 2 years. And then also kind of streamline our finances. Right now, everything is just like separate. We have one joint credit card and then one joint checking account, but it's just not working. Let me just like talk it out. So what I think might be best for us now that we've been married for, I guess, 2 years, is we have one account where all of our money goes into, right? All of our paychecks will go into one joint account, but we have our separate checking accounts, and then we have different credit cards for different things. But out of that one joint checking account where all of our money goes into, then it'll just be easier for me to pay off the cards, to distribute money into our personal checking accounts. And that way, Brian knows that what's in his personal checking account, he can just spend on whatever he wants, and there's no bills associated with it. Yeah, being married and like trying to figure out finances is definitely a interesting, complicated experience. But ultimately, the very first thing I need to do is pull Brian out of Bank of America and have him in the same bank that I have, just to make it easier, and Bank of America sucks. So here are the corresponding sinking fund flowcharts for my financial goals. With every flowchart, I write the amount that I want to put into my account every time I contribute. And then that way, when I contribute $500 into my friend's wedding account, I can highlight it. So for a Who Knows Beyonce experience, I want to contribute $250. For the bachelorette for my friend, I want to contribute $400. For the doggy dental, $800. Moving costs, $1,000, and then I can highlight it. Increase the emergency fund, $840. By the way, I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I just did 10,000 divided by 12, and that's how I got $840. Then for my 40th birthday party, I just need to contribute $600 30 times over the course of 2 years, and I'll have that fully funded. I just love sinking fund flowcharts. It makes the whole process of saving money way more fun and enjoyable. And I just like visually seeing my progress, that's all. These are my 2025 financial goals. If you're goal setting right along me in this video, congratulations. I cannot wait to see what you have in store for yourself. Please let us know in the comment section what you plan to save for next year, like your short-term and maybe a medium-term goal. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ajadang, and good luck financially in 2025. It's a fresh start. It's a new year. Like I said, my year was like wonky financially in 2024, so I'm really looking forward to a fresh new start in 2025. All right, bye.